Yo, man, these sneakers, this looks like an acid trip to me. And look, I ain't saying that I'm out here tripping off acid. I'm not saying that's me. I'm not saying that's me. But if it was me, I feel like this is what that would look like. You know what, kids? You know what, kids? Don't do drugs. What's good, family? It's your boy Sykes, and you are looking live at another episode of Special Delivery, where today we have Concept's brand new MELLOW Air Max 1s on tap. And y'all, these things are trippy. Like, I can't really find another way to describe them. Like, if an acid trip was a sneaker, I feel like this is what that acid trip would look like. But that's neither here nor there, man. I think these joints are really good. This is Concept's attempt at paying homage to the Air Max 1 in this month of March, which is its 35th anniversary. And I gotta say, it's a pretty good attempt at doing that. There are so many different colorways, so many different materials, so many different details on these shoes that just make them really good. And I'm really glad that we have these on set today. Those of y'all who read the Kicks You Wear newsletter, y'all know I've been looking forward to these for a while, ever since we got the first leaked images of them last year. But here's the thing. I gotta admit that when it comes to the story of these things, it's kind of confusing to me. And y'all know I'm the story guy. We gonna talk about that in a second, but before we get into it, y'all know what it is, man. We gotta unbox these things, so let's do it. All right, let's see what Concept's hitting on with these, man. Let's see, let's take a look. Woo! Hey, yo, they got a banger, y'all. They got a banger, y'all. Look at these joints, man. Look at these joints. This is just, oh my, this shoe is so good, man. I've been waiting so long for these. Like, as soon as you look at these joints, you can kind of catch the vibe of it, right? Like, this is supposed to represent that whole 1960s, 1970s bohemian vibe where you got that whole summer of love in the 1960s, and particularly Woodstock in 1969. Like, all of these materials are sort of inspired by that moment in time. Like, these are things that people would wear back in that day. And so you got, starting right here on the upper with this acid wash denim on both of the quarter panels, right? Like, you got it just all over the upper. And the cool part about this actually is that everybody's acid wash on the sneaker looks a little different. So like, you see mine here is lighter, but the pair of your shoes might actually be a little darker, which is pretty cool. It gives it a unique twist for everybody's different sneaker. And then moving down, you see you got some more of that acid wash down here on that toe box, but then you've got this slash, this star and this moon, which actually represent, what'd you say? I forgot. Actually represent powerful peace. Like, these symbols represented that back in the day for folks, which I think is a really cool thing and a really inspirational meaning to these joints. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I didn't really know what that meant before I saw this sneaker, but it's really cool. Big shouts to my producer Janelle for teaching me that, man. But anyway, moving up, you see you got this genuine bovine fur right here, which is a really cool touch. So I don't know if y'all know this, but Woodstock was actually held on a dairy farm. It was leased out by this dude named Max Yasker, who was a farmer. And if you look at pictures of Woodstock back in the day, like, you might see some cows out there. You might see some people out there chilling with cows, which is really cool. And that's what this is supposed to allude to. Moving up once again, you got this velvet tongue right here. Y'all know I love the velvet. This is my favorite part of the sneaker. On the tongue tag, you got this OG Nike logo along with this Concepts logo with this sort of 70s vibe font in it, the 60s, 70s vibe font. You go down, you see you got this multicolored swoosh right here. You go to the other side, you got that flower power swoosh right there. You got these corduroy splashes on the eyelets right here, which is really cool. Concepts back here on the collar area right here, you got that embroidered in there. You move down, you got this paisley right here, like your bandanas, right? And then you got Nike embroidered in there with the little frills in it, which is kind of reminiscent of the Union Passport dunks that just came out. And then one of the coolest parts of this thing is this splash of military green right here on the mud guard, right? Like, you see it all around the shoe. That's actually inspired by M65 military jackets that were like prominent back in the day, because obviously the Vietnam War was a thing. A lot of people at Woodstock were actually protesting that, but these jackets were made in surplus. So a lot of people had these jackets. Like, you could go into a department store and actually cop them. So that's a really cool thing. And like, this sneaker, man, it just speaks to that period in time, which I honestly didn't know too much about before researching this sneaker. So this shoe taught me a lot about that era. But that's kind of the weird part about this, because I feel like this shoe and these materials and these details tell us one story, but Concepts is kind of telling us another one, or at least trying to connect it to this story, which I think is kind of weird. Let's talk a little bit about that. So obviously this is a pretty big year for the Air Max 1. It is its 35th anniversary after all. The shoe was born on March 26, 1987, and so this year Nike and a bunch of its partners are releasing all of these different variations of the Air Max 1 to pay homage to the shoe. And this is Concept's attempt, along with the two other pairs that are coming in this collection, at paying homage to the Air Max 1. But I guess that's kind of where I get confused, because I think these sneakers are really, really good. Like, this is a great shoe that tells a great story about a time period that I honestly don't know that much about. But when actually talking about these shoes and their inspiration, Dion Point, who is the head of collaboration over at Concept, said that these shoes were made to honor the irreverent history of Nike from the 1960s and its origins up until now. And that's the confusing part for me. That's something that I can appreciate as a fan of Nike. He's talking about the origin of Nike as Blue Ribbon Sports back in 1964, which was originally founded by Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight, who was then his protege at the time. And eventually it became Nike in the late 60s and early 70s. But I guess I'm just not really sure what these sneakers in the era that these sneakers are inspired by have to do with Nike's development as a corporation. Like, that's just confusing to me, kind of. And then you don't even mix in the origin of the Air Max 1, which is totally fine. Like, you don't have to talk about that day in 1987 to make a good Air Max 1 sneaker. But I guess just referring to that and not really having a reference incorporated in the shoe, I guess outside of the original Nike logo on the tongue tag, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But look, here's the thing. I don't really need it to make that much sense, man. These shoes are that good. They tell their own story about, like I said, this era that I didn't know anything about. There are a bunch of great materials on here. There's a bunch of details on here that a lot of people can appreciate. I just want to appreciate this sneaker story on its own, and without the whole connection to Nike's origin. Like, that just doesn't really make too much sense to me. But kind of switching gears here really quick, y'all. Does it feel to you like the Air Max 1 is having a little bit of a moment? Does it feel like it's bubbling up a little bit more than usual? Because that's how it feels to me. Let me explain why. So does it feel like the Air Max 1 is having a little bit of a moment to y'all? Because that's what it feels like to me. A moment that is kind of similar to the rebirth of the Jordan 1 or the rebirth of the Nike Dunk that we've seen in recent years. And look, maybe I'm reaching a little bit. Maybe this is just me catching a contact high from these sneakers right here. But honestly, just think about it for a second. Think about the Air Max 1s that we've seen over the last few months. So you got these Concepts joints right here, right? And you got all the Air Max 1s dropping in this month, particularly later on actual Air Max Day on March 26th. But then you've also got the Pata Air Max 1 collection that we got at the tail end of last year. And then even beyond that, you have the Travis Scott Air Max 1s that were supposed to drop before everything went left at his festival that fell off the face of the earth. Like, I don't know if we'll ever get those, but those were definitely in the works for Nike. And that to me says that there's a concerted plan here. That to me says that there's long-term thinking surrounding the Air Max 1, because Nike does everything with a thought process in mind. Like, they're not gonna make all of these different changes to the Air Max 1. They're not gonna try to rebirth the model in the way that they have without there being a long-term plan for these things. I mean, you don't put Travis Scott in just any shoe, right? Like, he wears the shoes that are coming next for Nike. And so he was supposed to wear that Air Max 1. I feel like the Air Max 1 is coming next. I feel like that's the next shoe that Nike is going to try to make this whole retro thing pop with. I don't know if I'm tripping. I don't know if this is just me, like I said, you know, reeling off of copping these and it being Air Max month, but I hope it is, man, because if it gives us more sneakers like this, y'all can definitely sign me up for that. But Anyway, fam, that's a wrap for Special Delivery. I'm your boy Sykes, and this is Concept's brand new MELLOW Air Max 1. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Special Delivery. Make sure you like and subscribe to catch future episodes of Special Delivery. And in the comments section, let us know, man, what's your favorite Air Max 1 collab so far? For me, it's definitely these Jones.
Cap.